Hello my dear students, welcome to computer science class. In our previous video class we have started with the topic how to input a given string and how to output a given string, and also we have discussed one of the program based upon inputting and outputting a string. Before we proceed, let us have a quick glance on what is a string. String is nothing but it's a sequence of characters which are enclosed under the double quotes. Here each character occupies 1 byte of size. So how do we input a string? To input a string, we have a function known as getLine function. That is cin.getLine followed by the string name comma the size. Here comes an example. Similarly, how do we output a string? That is by using a write function cout followed by dot operator followed by write function, the string name comma the size. Here comes an example. Now let us proceed with the next program. Actually this we have discussed in our previous video class, like how to read a given string and how to print a given string. Here you can see in our string name is yes, and we are reading the string by using a getLine function followed by our string name followed by the size. And I have also shown the difference. What happens when we use a getLine function? What happens when we use the just cin function to read a given string? And this is one of our built-in function known as string length. In order to find out the length of the given string, we are using this particular built-in function. Now let us see today how exactly the built-in function string length will work. Now here comes a program to find out the length of a given string using the library function. So here is iostream.h, conio.h, string.h. I am using this particular header file string.h because I am using one of the built-in function known as string length. Then I am using iostream because of usage of cout and cin, as well as getLine is also a function that belongs to an header file known as iostream. Conio.h I am using because of clear screen and getch. Now here I am declaring a string. We know that syntax is data type followed by the string name followed by the size. So that's how we are declaring a string, and I am taking a variable known as L of type integer. Clear screen, cout, enter the string. Here I am asking the user to enter the string by using a getLine function. Okay, so cin.getLine, the string name is st, 100. That means the length of this given string is 100 bytes because each of the bytes will consist of 1 byte, each of the character. Now, how we have a syntax here, that is to use the length of the given string. To find out the length of a given string, the syntax is actually the variable is equals to the function name, that is a string length, followed by string name. Which string you want to find out the length, that string you have to pass it as an argument. I repeat, the general syntax is variable is equals to the function name followed by the string name which you want to find out the length of the given string. That is the reason here I want to find out the length of this given string, that is st, and once I find out the given length of this particular string, I would like to store it in a variable known as L, and then followed by cout, the length is equals to, I am displaying the length of this particular given string here, and then followed by getch. So this is how we are making use of a built-in function, that is string length. Let me execute this particular program and show you. Here comes the program. The same what was being written there, the same thing I have written here. So let me compile this one. I got the 0 errors here. Let me run the code. When you run the code here, let me give the input here as Bangalore. So we know the length of this given string is 9. So I got the length as 9. Okay, let me give another input here. Run. Okay, let me give here as computer science. Now look here, 8. How I am getting 8 here? That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It even includes the blank space here. So the total length of this particular given string is 8. So this is how we can use the built-in function, that is string length. Let us move back to our PPT. We shall deal with the next program. So let us move on to the next one here. Now here comes the program to find out the length of the given string without using the library function. Previous program we have seen how to find the length of a string by using the built-in function, that is string length. Now here comes a program to find out the length of a string without using the library function. Look at here the for loop. So the rest of the code remains the same. Here instead of taking the length, instead of L, I've taken a variable known as I, because you need to move on, you need to traverse the entire string in order to count how many number of characters are there into it. So that's the reason I've taken the variable I here. I'm asking the user to enter the string, and then getLine function, with the help of getLine I'm reading the string. Now look at this for loop. What it is, for I is equals to 0, string of I. So since I is initially 0, that means string of 0 in the sense the first character what you are going to give as input. Okay, so string of 0 should not be equal to null. If it is not equal to null, then I plus plus. Okay, similarly, how many, suppose if you are giving the 5 characters, okay, in a given string, 5 characters strings. So every time I gets incremented, and finally once the condition becomes false, then the length I'm going to print the I value, because I will get increment depending upon the number of characters are there given in the given string. So therefore instead of using the built-in function, with the help of the for loop, I'm going to find out the length of the given string. Now let me explain this one with an example. Look at here. Let me take this given string as wow, that is WOW. Now let us trace the program here. Initially for I is equals to 0, st of I, listen here, since it is a string is an array of characters, this is the first one is at the position st of 0, st of 1, st of 2. Since it is an array of characters, we know that the array always begins with the 0, isn't it? So therefore the position of this particular first character is 0, this is 1 and this is 2, right? So I am initializing a counter variable I to 0. So when I am initializing I to 0 means definitely your pointer will start pointing to at this particular position in a given string, that is 0th location it will point. Next, what is this checking? Whether string of I, in the sense whether string of 0, whether string of 0 is not equal to null. This is actually the null. This is an escape sequence characters, isn't it? That is why it has been preceded with the backslash here. Okay, so since it's a null character, it has been enclosed in a single quotes here. So since st of 0, that means st of 0 in the sense what, children? Here st of 0 in the sense w. See, this is a subscript, that means I am referring to the value, not the position. Now here I is equal to 0, this refers to the actually the position, whereas st of like 0 in the sense when I refer to this, actually we are referring to the character here. So st of 0 is not equal to null means I am checking st of w, because in the 0th position w is there. Whether st of w is not equal to null character, yes, it's not equal to null. So therefore I gets incremented. This condition is true. This condition, when it is true, Look at this for loop. It is being terminated with a semicolon here. Once it has been terminated with a semicolon, that means what? Whatever the next statement is being given in the program, that doesn't become the true part of this for loop. Okay, since it has been terminated here, we don't have any other statement associated with the for loop. So since the condition, if it is true, after that, since it doesn't have any other statement associated with this, control will go to the incrementation of I, counter variable. I hope you are able to understand. Suppose if I have not given a semicolon here, then definitely the next statement what you are going to write after the for loop would be considered as a true part of this particular for loop. Since your for loop is being terminated here itself, you don't have any other statement associated with this for loop. Therefore, it will control will never come out of the for. In fact, it keeps on repeating itself until this particular condition satisfies. Once the given condition fails, the control will come out of the for loop and it control goes to the next statement. Now look at this particular example here. Since it has been terminated, control will jump to the third part, that is I plus plus. When it jumps to the third part, so initially I was 0, now because it is incremented, I value will become 1. Okay, after once the I becomes 1, again repetition takes place, isn't it? So when I becomes 1, definitely here we are pointing to the first location in a given string. We are pointing, that means we are pointing to this particular character, that is O. Next, when I is equals to 1, I am checking st of I, in the sense st of 1, isn't it not equal to the null character? So what is there in st of 1? That is 0 is there. 0 is not equal to null. Yes, the condition is true. Once the condition is true, we don't have any other statement associated with. We have a termination here. So the control will go to the increment part. Now this time I becomes 2. Once the I becomes 2 here, again we are checking whether I becomes 2 means definitely we are pointing at this particular second location. Now, so when you are pointing at second location, I am checking here whether st of 2, isn't it not equal to null? St of 2 means w. Yes, w is not equal to null. Yes, the condition is true. Increment the I value. Now actually this condition, it is terminated, so we don't have associated statement. The control moves to the third part, that is I gets incremented. Once I gets incremented, I will definitely point to I is equal to 3. Look at here, I is equal to 3 in the sense string of 3. We don't have the third one here. Actually every string will be automatically will be appended with a null character. We know that. So WOW, in the computer memory, how the representation of this string will be WOW, then null character. This is, isn't it? Explicitly this one, implicitly the compiler will adding or append the null character at the end of the string to indicate it's a that is we have reached the end of the given string. So therefore st of 3, isn't it not equal to null? Here the condition becomes false. Once the condition becomes false, we are coming out of the for loop. In fact, we are moving to the next one here, the statement, that is we are going to print. So length is equal to. So we were using our counter variable every time. So till now we have seen the I value has reached to third. So therefore I am printing the length of the given string, that is I variable. That's how we are able to find out the length of a given string without using the built-in function. Let me execute this one and show you how it works. Yes. So this is a program, just what we have discussed. Let me compile the program here. We got the 0 errors here. Let me run the code. So that's asking you to enter the string. So let me give here as public as a given string. See, the length of the given string is 5. Now the input shall we give? See, the length is 9. So here it is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. So whether you find out the length of the given string by using a library function or without using the library function, it will calculate exactly the length of the given string. I hope children you are able to understand. Let us move to the next program. Here comes the new function that we have to check. It is string concatenate. String length, I have completed this one. So this was the syntax. Variable is equal to string length followed by the string name. So as per this, see here, string length L I am taking to in order to store a length of the given string, and then now directly I am passing the string here. So this string was actually consisting of this particular string, that is empress. So when you execute this particular statement, you are getting the number of character within this one is 7. I am getting the length of the given string is 7. Now move on. Let us move on to the string concatenation. String concatenation is a built-in function again, which will help you to concatenate the two strings. Concatenation in the sense, it is a process of combining the two strings in order to form only one single string. This process we actually call it as concatenation. Yes. So now here I have already shown with one example here. So char string 1, okay, is equals to, I am specifying the string here win. So what will be the length of this particular given string would be 3. Now similarly here char string 2, okay, I am given here DOW, yes, space followed by 8. So here the length of the string of 2 would be how much? 4, 5, 6 it would be. The length of the given string is 6. Now I am going to use a function known as string concatenation. That is, this is actually the function name string concatenating, strcat, followed by I need to concatenate the first string and the second string. What is my, now this is a general syntax, but as per this, what is my string name? str1. So str1 followed by the str2. Which two strings you need to concatenate? Those you need to specify in this particular as a parameters you need to pass. Okay. So here what happens? Whatever the contents are there in the string 2 will be combined with the string 1. Okay, how the string concatenation work is, it will concatenate or it will add the contents what is there in the string 2 at the end of the string 1, it will add those contents. So the process of combining the two strings in order to form a single string, we call it as a concatenation. So when we execute this particular program segment, so the string 1 output, what do I get here? Windows 8. This is how I get the output. Okay, I hope children you are able to understand. Let us move on to the next program here. So this is a program to count the number of vowels and consonants in a given string. So we know what are the vowels. Vowels are A, E, I, O, U. The rest of, apart from A, E, I, O, U, the rest of the alphabets we actually refer to as in consonants. Now look at this particular example output here. Enter the string. So we have entered a string known as Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. When you give this particular string as an input, this program will find out how many number of vowels are there and how many number of consonants. If you clearly observe, we are getting 5 vowels and 10 consonants. Let us understand how this program actually works. So here let me show it with an execution itself so that we can clearly have an idea. Now herein our string name is yes. Okay, I've taken a variable known as L in order to find out the length of a given string, and I have taken to find out the counter variable here. Consonants, initially I'm giving its value to be as 0, similarly vowels also. And then I'm asking the user to enter the string. With the help of getLine function, I'm reading the given string. then I'm finding out the length of the given string and I'm storing in a variable known as L. Now this one is what? Once the given string as an input, we need to traverse. In order to find out how many consonants and how many vowels are there, we need to traverse the entire string right from the first location till the last location. That is the reason I am using the for loop. For I is equals to 0, till what you need to iterate? Till up to the less than length value you need to iterate. If the length is 3, definitely the positions will be 0, 1, 2, isn't it? Just now we have seen with the string W, that is wow, W-O-W, that was a position 0, 1, 2, but the length of the given string was actually 3. So you need to iterate up to the less than the length value of this particular given string, and every time you need to increment the I value. Now before we actually count the number of vowels and consonants, first we are going to check whether the entered string, within the enter string, whether what we encounter each one of the character, whether it is an alphabet or no, first we need to check. Okay, suppose in a given string W-O-W we have given, isn't it? So first when we encounter the alphabet as W, first I need to check whether the character is an alphabet or not. What if I have given W, $W like that? So when it encounters dollar, it shouldn't execute that it's an alphabet, isn't it? So first we need to check whether all the given characters as an alphabet or not. If it is true, if the first is a character, if it is an alphabet, then I'm going to convert it in the uppercase. Why did I write this one to convert in the uppercase? Because here if you observe the case labels, I have taken everything in the uppercase. Okay, so whatever the input you are giving here as an each one, whatever character it is, it will evaluate with this particular given case. Once the match is found, A, E, I, O, U, which are in the capital letter, so it will match with the same. Okay, once the match is found, then vowels we are incrementing, whether it is A, E, I, O, U. Actually here after every case I should have written vowels plus plus break, vowels plus plus break, whether it's A, E, I, O, U, any of this. If it is a given match is found, then vowels only have to be incremented. So in order to avoid rewriting every time, only at the last case directly I have written as vowels plus plus. Okay, since I have not included any break statement, definitely the control would come at this particular position and vowels get incremented. What if none of the match has been found with A, E, I, O, U? Then definitely it will encounter the default statement, and in default we are incrementing the consonants. I hope you are able to understand. So this keeps on repeating until this particular given condition fails. Once the given condition fails, okay, we are out of the for loop, and finally we are going to print the number of vowels and the number of consonants. Let me explain this one with an example so that you can clearly understand here. Yes. Yes is a name of the given string. L, I, consonants, vowels, as I have already explained. Now let me take this one input, wow, as an input given string. Now as per this, first we are going to find out the length of a given string. When you find out the length of the given string, L becomes 3. Isn't it? Length becomes 3. I is 0. 0 is less than 3 and I plus plus. This is initial first iteration where I is equals to 0. 0 is less than 3. The condition satisfies. On satisfying this condition, what is the true part of this particular for loop is the very next statement. In the next statement, I am going to check whether the S of I in the sense of what? S of I in the sense I is pointing to the 0th location, means definitely we are pointing at this particular location. So S of I in the sense S of 0, which is nothing but W. I am going to, so the true part of this if statement is the very next statement, that is switch statement. Since here the condition becomes true, it's a simple if statement. Since the condition becomes true, the control goes to the next statement, that is switch. Here I am going to convert 2 upper of S of I in the sense 2 upper of S of 0. What is there in S of 0? That is W. Since already this W is an uppercase, please make a difference here. This I have given as uppercase and this I have given as lowercase purposely so that you can understand the difference here. So since the 2 upper already the given character is in the uppercase, so whatever the character is there, it remains the same. Next, since once we have converted into the uppercase here, this W will first, we are making an entry into the switch case. This W has been matched with this particular case label, that's A. Match is not found. Again, control will go to the next case. Match is not found. The match is not found here. Similarly here, neither to case U, match will not found. See, since none of the case will match, definitely the default statement will execute. We know already the working of how the switch statement will work, isn't it? So once the default statement here, the consonants gets incremented. Once the consonants gets incremented, the previous value of consonants was 0. Now since it is getting incremented, the consonants value will become 1. After this, the control will move back to the for, not to the switch. We are under the control of the for statement, isn't it? So therefore, the control goes to the back to the for, wherein I gets incremented. Once the I get incremented, I will start pointing to the first location here. Let us see to that. So look at this given string here. I is equal to now becomes 1. 1 is less than 3. Yes, the given condition is true. Once this condition is true, then we are checking is alpha of S of I. S of I in the sense we are pointing to the S of 1. I have directly substituted the value here. What is there? The character in the S of 1, that is we have O. So O is already been replaced. So this condition is also true because O is an alphabet, isn't it? So on satisfying this particular condition, the true part is the switch to upper. That means the O here, what I have written in the lower case. So to upper, when it converts, it has become into the uppercase. We have converted to the uppercase. Then this O is matched with this particular case label. Match is not found. Again here, match is not found. Here, match is not found. Now when it comes here, the match will be found because this is also uppercase and this is also uppercase. Once the match has been found, we didn't write here ovals plus plus. In fact, since we have not written, the case will definitely jump to here, and then here the vowels plus plus. Here the match will not found, but associated statements will execute here because we haven't included any break statement here. Once we don't include the break statement, definitely the next case also will get executed, but the match will not found, but ovals will get incremented. Once the ovals will get incremented, previous value it was 0, now the ovals becomes 1. See, now we have encountered the break statements. What is the purpose of break statement? In order to terminate the current loop. That means in order to terminate the switch case. So once it encounters break, that is the reason why we are not going to the default statement. So the control comes out of this particular switch statements. Once it comes out of this particular switch statement, since we are under still the control of for loop, again iteration takes place. Okay, I gets incremented because we are still under the for condition, because still the condition is true there. Now let us move on to the next iteration when I becomes 2. Since I is equals to 2, 2 is less than 3, yes, your condition is true. Since this condition is true, so 2 in the sense I am pointing to this particular location is alpha of S of I. That means S of 2. What is there the value? That is character, that is W. So because this condition satisfy, again we are going to convert into this given character into an uppercase, where this is what after conversion I am getting the W in the uppercase. Then finally we are making an entry into the switch case here. W and A match will found? No. Similarly E, no. I match is not found. O match is not found. U match is not found. Since the match is not found to any of the case label, by default the consonants will execute. That means the consonants value will get incremented. Previous consonant value was 1. Since it gets incremented, the consonant value becomes 2. After that, again the control goes back to the for statements. Once the control goes back to the for statement, now I will become 3. Now look at this one. I is equal to 3. As per the given condition, we know the length is 3. So 3 is less than 3, the condition becomes false. Once the for condition becomes false, control will definitely jump to the next statement. As per the given program, what is there in my next statement? That I am going to print the number of vowels and the number of consonants. So as per this string WOW, the number of vowels is 1, that is O here, and the number of consonants 2, that is both the W. This is how exactly how we are going to find out the number of vowels and the consonants in a given string. Students, I hope you are able to understand. Let me execute this particular program and then show you. Yes, here the same program I have written. Let me compile this one. Let me run the code. Here it is asking us to enter the string. Now here I am going to enter the string as Charles. So the number of vowels here, that is A and E. These are the vowels, and the rest C, H, R, L, S. So 5 are the consonants. I hope you are able to understand. Let me give another input. Now let me give another input to be as Lovelace. See the number of vowels here as 4, because O, E, A and E. No matter the repetitions, it will count how many number of vowels in a given string. O, E, A and E. And the number of consonants are L, okay, V, L and C. So the number of vowels 4 and the number of consonants are 4. So the total length here, it becomes how? 8. So this is how we are able to find out the number of vowels and the consonants. Students, I hope you are able to understand all these programs. Stay home, stay safe, students. Thank you.